Yeah, we find her, the beautiful girl we've been missing. We wanna have her kissing. We find her, now we in love. Say go so, the remix.
E&B, Tux Bites, remix.
Now if I had to lose you like a bad phone connection, I'd change my game to get a better reception. Sit back, let's start this interaction. Don't fight the feelings, just a chain reaction. Your heart won't give it the wrong instructions. Like my GPS, yes I got the right direction. We gotta merge together like a road intersection. Last stop is gonna be my love and affection. I ain't like the mother dudes, they wanna call you shorty, but I'ma call you a beautiful girl. I took your picture home, my mama saw it, she's a very, very beautiful girl. I wanna put you in my video, cause you're so beautiful. You're a beautiful girl. So when you hear us on your radio, turn up your stereo. It's beautiful girl.
Gotta find a shorty what's worth of a lady. It's nice but maybe doesn't look like 40. It's taking a little time. I wasn't seeing no signs, any traces of my baby. Who's gonna be my baby? But I thought I'm gonna take my time. Within it took a long fun eye. I saw a shorty passing by. She's got this very pretty smile. It was right at the bus station. I tried to make a conversation, holding her arms, feeling so tough. I felt this sensation. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Now I realize I found me a beautiful girl. She's a model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it by. Beautiful girl, sparkling eyes, a killing light. I found me a beautiful girl.
My wish came true when I saw you, girl. God must have blessed me with your beauty, girl. Looking so right from your head to your toe, shaped like a cocoa bottle with a smile of a queen. My queen to be, you my destiny. Got a body of a goddess with your beauty. I'm impressed and I'm never in distress. Come on over and be mine. Been searching for a man and now all the cats keep looking to mine. With a sexy walk and a sexy talk, she must be from a planet called the sexy world. I know I ain't tripping, better yet I'm thinking put a ring on the finger, we look good together. Take your place in my heart with your beauty. I'ma say that I'll never turn away. Who would think I'm in love?
Such the way she smiles at me just really makes me weak. The way she speaks to me just really make me go so weak. Keep staring in her eyebrows. All I kept on saying is wow. Your beauty shines and breeze at night. All I really want in my life. Oh yeah. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl, sparkling eyes, killing tight. I found me a beautiful girl. Yeah, beautiful girl, beautiful girl. Yeah. Beautiful girl.
Damn. Money, you seen her? Hot Ice, have you seen her? LP, have you seen her? I'ma go over to Tux Bites. I know you've probably seen her. He has a lot of beautiful girls with him. Tux, it's DMV, baby. Look.
Beautiful.
I look for a while, but I can't seem to find a beautiful girl so I can make her mine. Time after time, I've been searching for a while, but every girl I meet never seems worthwhile. What can I do? I pray to God for an answer. I feel pains in my heart like cancer, and when I find her, I'm gonna romance her. Lace of her presents and gifts, call me Santa. Claus, I make a heartbeat pause. That's my girl, homeboy, not yours. The girl of my dreams, she's more than I ever thought. Show me Aston Kutcher, I think I'm getting punked. She's what I really want, so I'm a go-getter. Since I'm a go-getter, you know I'm gon' get her. And I will give her the world, anything for my beautiful girl. Psych. Ooh,
It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine, brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it, beautiful girl. Sparkling eyes, killing thigh. I found a beautiful girl.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of Prestige? Welcome back. Ekabo back Sorieto. Today we're talking about this is why modern women are running away. We're talking about it. This is more or less it's going to be a short session. Okay, we have some comments to react to, and we're going to react to it together. Okay, welcome back. Shout out to you all. Again, my name is Ola. I'm coming to you live from my Empire Pro Studios. All right. And I shall come in and do me a favor. Hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Let's ping everyone else into the room. The way you do that is hit the like button. Thank you so much. Thank you. And welcome to the show. Shout out to Gracious Greatness. Good to see you, man. What's going on? We missed you yesterday. Good to see you. And we have Coco here. Coco, I'm guessing that's a bunch of emojis and stuff. Good to see you. Welcome. All right. So, again, this is Men of Prestige. And basically what we do here is we talk about relationships. We talk about power. We talk about self. We talk about social, emotional intelligence, seduction, and attraction. What we try to do is highlight your power. Okay, when it's possible. Okay, we don't mean you always have the power. Sometimes you're just a victim. It is what it is. Unfortunately, this is the real world, and people are only out for themselves. Inherently, people are selfish. People they don't care about anything outside of their feelings. So the more you completely discount emotions, the worse it gets for you. Because the reality is that everyone, including yourself, myself, we're caught up in our emotions oftentimes. And the idea here is to manage it. The idea here is to have some intelligence around how it works, so we can create better relationships, so we can have a better chance at creating quality life. That's what we're coming here to talk about. Just in case you're brand new here, you can absolutely download this book. This is a book written by my wife and me. A couple of years back. Is basically all of our stories. So if you're wondering what is all our story, where is it coming from, how come it can relate to everything, it's probably coming from experience. You can pick up the book for free at loveandprestige.com, and also you can book a private coaching session, because we're going to generalize here quite a bit. It's everyone's story is different. Application to everybody's personal life is different. So just keep an open mind around that. And also, if you want me to notify you, okay, that way you always get a notification when I do go live. Like for example today, okay, when the algorithms are acting out, this is a good way to circumvent that. I'll personally send you a message when I'm going live. If you join our WhatsApp group at lolaandola.com/WhatsApp, if that doesn't work, send a WhatsApp message to +1 732 305 8577, and we'll take it from there. All right. So today we have one particular comment we're going to talk about. This is why modern women are running away, especially in the abroad. That's what we're talking about today. Yes, sir. So it's going to be fun, as usual. All right. It's going to be enlightening, as usual. I'm actually going to be learning from you as well. So don't get it twisted. I am going to be learning from you as well. Okay. So please try as much as possible to participate inside of in the chat. Okay. And yes, today we're a little bit more serious, so you might have noticed that it's only subscribers only that can comment. All you have to do is subscribe and wait 5 minutes. You'll be able to chat with us as well. The jackpot bride, that's what we're talking about today. They say they all jackpot these days. Shout out to you, Heavenly Dove. Welcome. All right, welcome. So I'm going to just read the comment to you. There's a comment in particular that came in. Shout out to Shay yesterday. Before Shay came on the stage yesterday to have that awesome conversation with me, just in case you missed that conversation, make sure you watch yesterday's episode, yesterday's live stream. All right, just in case you missed that out, make sure you go watch that once we're done. We had an awesome conversation with Shay, and it was an awesome session altogether in general. I had a good time. I had a good time, personally, But, Shay left a comment earlier on in the day. I was going to do it yesterday. We didn't get to it. But today we're going to have a chance to get to it. And I thought today would be a fantastic time. I'm going to read it to you. And I want to know your thoughts around it. I want to know your opinions. Men, women, children, ladies, gentlemen, kids, boys and girls. Let me know what you think about this as I read it to you. Then I'll come back to the chat. If you have any opinions, I'll read them. And then I'll also give my own opinion around it. He also gave some additional context, gave some stats, around it. And, we're just going to talk about it. And then I think I seen that he said some information might have been blacklisted. Let me go inside of my YouTube studio comments, see if there's anything that's held for review. Show hidden comments. Let's see. Yeah, so YouTube does that, it to hide certain comments, or delete it completely. I won't be able to see it. If it's over 60 days, I won't see it. I'm looking at this here. Let's see. I see a comment here. All you do is have lame conversations with black women and black men. Every now and then, this same black women are chaotic. Oh, this is an interesting one. I'm actually gonna look at this. All right, this is actually a good pre before I get to share his comment. Right, this person left this comment 1 month ago. So again, even YouTube knows when comments are lame. It hides it. Not all of them are lame. I'm just saying this particular one I'm looking at right now from a James Sharp. Right. Let me see what he says here. He says, okay, but all you do. Okay, there was a comment that I left that was shared. Okay, let me go ahead and just open this. Boom, there you go. I know you can't see what I'm seeing, but I'll read to you what I said. It's always, it's like the gift that keeps giving. It's a gift that keeps giving, basically. Let me see. Held for review. Go back. I hope. Oh my God, where is it? Oh no, not. Tell me it ain't so. Did I just? Is it deleted? Oh no, let me see. Okay, it's under here. Come on, let me see. Oh my God, let me see. Let me refresh. Damn, we needed to see that. Okay, show hidden comments. I think I said. Yeah, it says they may contain languages that considered offensive. Okay, show it. Okay, I have it. All right, good. I have it. Thank God. Anyway. All right, welcome back. Let me just first of all do shout out to my people here. Hey Tina, good to see you, Tina. Welcome Tina. Chinye is here. Good to see you, Chinye, my G. What's going on? Latu Day here, of course. Welcome. Adaize, welcome. Hit that like button as you're coming in. D is here. Shout out to D. Hit that like button. Let's ping everybody else into the room, okay? You're just on time, Okay. So I'm going to review. Shout out to Shay from yesterday. He left a comment earlier on. We're going to cover that today. But before we get into that, I left a comment about 1 month ago when Pearly, what's her name? What was that name we gave her? Right, Uncle Paul, Mr. Pearly, the homie, just Pearly things, right? When she was being blown all over the place because everybody started for the first time discovering she's a grifter, but we basically did a few analysis of a lot of the gibberish she was spewing out there. But then also another lady, what's her name, Melanie King, was also being ousted for being all over the place. But I decided to put some comments here for the ladies, and I'm going to put that here for you as well. Basically, it says, ladies, read this carefully. Your best leverage point is working on yourself. Well, that's not just ladies, that's all of us, right? Working on yourself for us men, not actively trying to repeat lame, loud men's talking points. I can understand if that's confusing, because after all, a lot of men says, we want you to behave a certain way, like it's confusing, right? But maybe you should be asking more questions generated from your own perspectives, not from men's perspective. It's not a normal woman behavior to be sounding like loud men, because you probably will never understand any man fully. You are a woman. At best, it's fake, and normal people can tell even when you can't tell. This is something I left on our community page, by the way, with a picture of Uncle Pearly and Melanie King. It's on there. It's probably like way deep in there, Sha. When you work on yourself, you will increase the chances of finding a competent man. Competency is coming up again. Who can make you feel safe and secure enough for your natural feminine essence to thrive. At the minimum, you will have a better quality of life. Femininity generated outside of this is not sustainable because it's fake. These modern men are just as confused as you are. So blindly regurgitating social media talking points is useless effort. Take some time off to reflect on the results you've created in the past 3 to 24 months. Then start working on yourself. As I type this, Melanie King is on a tour apologizing without knowing what she is apologizing for. Just Pearl Things is on her coconut head, privileged, racist, out of control spin, actively trying to control the narrative. She's still doing that, by the way. That's like over a month ago. These ladies are all less than 2 years in their newfound fame from pandering to lame men. They try to ask me to pander to them too, but obviously it could work. They have been doxxed. Now, this lady have been doxxed and dragged by the same men they pandered to, directly and indirectly. Work on yourself, ladies. You will increase the chances of us liking the results in and out. At least you will improve the quality of your life, and that's a big deal. If you can't comprehend that, you need a coach. I feel sorry for these ladies. That's Melanie King and Just Pearl Things, but they don't want to be saved. I'm patient. We shall see. This is what I left, and a lame man decided to come and leave a comment. Okay, so I posted it. Let me show you. Okay, this is it. This is what I'm showing on this page, right? I posted it with a picture of Melanie King right here. She's a content creator. She's been pandering to lame men for the longest. It didn't work, because they dragged her when it was time to drag her. The same men, they dragged her. All right. And this is Uncle Pearly. All right. So I left this, and then what's his name? Alan Obi. Alan Obi is a content creator, an Igbo guy, a YouTube friend. He decided to. I guess he liked what I posted. He decided to share it. So he shared it, and then he said confirm. Okay, he spelled it confirm, like Niger way, right? And somebody decided to left a comment for Alan Obi. All right, decided to leave him a comment. Decided to push against him. I guess that's what I'm looking at. And this, his name, he put his name public, so I might just call it public. His name is James Sharp. But it was hidden. I'm noticing that it was hidden as offensive by YouTube since 1 month ago, because I was trying to pull up Shei's comments that he alluded that might have been hidden. I can't find that, by the way. And James Sharp says, okay, he's replying to Alan Obi. Alan Obi is a solid guy, by the way. The name of his YouTube channel is We Need to Talk. You can find it. They have a little bit more of a harder conversation. Just be guided, because he will listen all the way through. He permits everything. He listens to all sides of the argument. Okay, so trigger alert, just in case. All right. So James said, okay, but all you do is have lame conversations with black women. He's talking to Alan Obi. This is what a lame man will do, okay? They always find themselves competing with women and they don't even realize it, right? In the name, like, I don't know. There's this active competition that they have with the women, and the only way I can interpret it is that you would like to be a woman. And that's the weirdest shit ever. But anyway, let's continue. Okay, but all you do is have lame conversations with black women, because what he does is interviews women. He throws talk very solid conversations with women to see where they're coming from, trying to understand them. That's the content. Good stuff. And he goes, all you do is have lame conversations with black women and black men every now and then. These same black women are chaotic and indecisive by nature. Okay, so this is confusion. If you believe so much that it is by nature, why are you arguing with your destiny, for crying out loud? Is that not madness? Right? Is that not juju?
Not be juju, be that.
Is that not witchcraft? If you know something is by, if you truly believe that's by nature, why are you as a grown-ass man arguing with it? Does that make any freaking sense? Anyway, I guess it does. So it goes, this black women, so this is a black man, there's a black man in this DP I'm looking at, throwing black women under the bus for no damn reason. They're chaotic and indecisive by nature, operate based on their feelings and emotions. This is the part where he will claim he's not caught up in his emotions too. Does this not look like somebody who is speaking out of emotions? Or do I have to spell it out? I'm logical. There's another grifter who is always saying she's logical. She's nowhere logical. She's the worst of them, actually. I'm logical. Let's be logical. I'm logical. Let's be logical. No, you're not logical. It's worse, right? If you have to say that out loud, you're probably not logical. And if you're asking people to be logical, they are going to be a little bit more emotional. He said all they do is operate out of feelings and emotions. They don't really know what they want in any man. And most of them are white feminists in black. Let me see the rest of it. In blackface. They always, let me stop, because there are good people who leave long comments, okay? Your conversation with them accomplished nothing. Your game goofiness is exposed on every video. Look, I'm married and gamed up. Lies. They always try to lie. It's a lie.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
At best, you're divorced. At best, you have terrible experiences and you can't see beyond that. And that's a problem. Your problem, precisely. Not all of black women's problem. Not all of black men's problem. Because some of us are not doing too badly. Not because we're lucky, because we've gone through our own crisis, conflict, challenges, and we came through on the other side. That's why. Not getting stuck in your funk and trying to pull everyone else into that bullshit. I would have thought that some of these goofies will still love a little bit of Alan Obi, but clearly nothing is good enough for them. Nothing is good enough for them. I'm married and gamed up. Lies. I'd rather have sex with my wife, sex my wife's brains out than complain about her on any modern day or any modern day woman. I get it. This woman, he's quoting. He's talking like a woman. Jesus, that was him quoting. Like, look, I'm married and gamed up. I'd rather sex my wife's brains out than complain about her or any modern day woman. I get it. This women that you talk to are eye candy. And simps love giving them free, unearned attention, validation, and some form of adoration. What do I tell you about simps? What they actively try to do is beat you to calling you a simp. They can't wait to call you you're pandering. They want to beat you to it first because it's projection at best. Fucking simps. You're weak. You can't have a conversation unless you bring women into it. You can't have a conversation with other men unless you bring women into it. That's the issues here. And you're projecting. Clicks and views, I get it. But you're just as guilty as JPT, that's Uncle Pearl, and Melanie King. But wait, you're a man. So now it's okay because you're giving us your talking point. Weirdos. You're doing absolutely nothing to fix the black community, and it's shameful. And screw your feelings and emotions. Sounds like somebody is caught up in their emotions. The only thing they can do with emotional intelligence is talk it out. Why are you being emotional? Why are you being biased? You're a simp. Weirdos. I'm just calling it how I see it. Lame ass. Lame people always say that. That's how you give the moment you say that, you give yourself away. I'm just telling the truth. I say all this respectfully, whether you like it or not. What a weirdo. What a weirdo. I'm going to approve it for the whole world to see how lame that is. I'm just going to approve it. All right. That's the first comment review of the day. I just want you to have an idea of what we're dealing with here. These are the realities. These are the realities of what you're dealing with. When I say incompetent men, I know what I'm talking about. Incompetent men will create more incompetent women and children and a society. That's the way it works. Not the other way around. Children don't create bad women. Bad women don't create bad men. That's weird. Just because they're giving birth to children doesn't mean they're creating bad sons. That's a weird way of looking at things. That's backwards. At some point, you're going to have to pick a priority of what direction you want to look when you're trying to solve problems. You can't just be all over the place. Oh, but is this woman creating these children? No, shut your trap. You're wrong. You're wrong. Anyway, welcome, D'Souza. Good to see you, D'Souza. Welcome, D'Souza. The modern man's best vocabulary is femininity, feminine energy. No walasha. Yeah. Even the most feminine women cannot be feminine around you because you're a weirdo. You're dangerous to yourself. Good to see you, D'Souza. Where have you been? Good to see you. Gracious Greatness says, I hear you, D'Souza. YouTube can be draining. Wait, did she say something earlier? Oh, she said I'm on a YouTube break. I really need it. I hear you. Depending on where you've been hanging out, though, D'Souza, there are some really, really positive platforms that you can hang out. But I know it's hard because they come up in your feed because they're more negative, they're more engaged. So they come up in your feed and just take over. It's just the way it is. You know, shout out to all 28 of you that made your way here. It's hard to get the algorithms to pay attention to what we're doing here. It's just hard. Okay, but I'm okay with it. It's patience. Anything that's worthwhile takes time, takes patience. You know. It says, I hear you, D'Souza. YouTube can be draining at times, promoting the most polarizing of subjects. A break sounds like such well-needed thing. Just to get grounded again. Yes, absolutely. Yes, even me, I say that. Okay, you thrown that dude on Hello, you thrown that dude under the plane. Dude was wrong for his comment though. making sweeping generalizations up and down. I don't know. Welcome, cherished Olivia. Good to see you. Good to see you. Listen, let's do this. I want to go to what we came here for today, right about now. But before let me actually review the comment first. All right, so here's what Shay left earlier yesterday. I want to say shout out to Shay again, because at least Shay is willing to come up and have the conversation. None of us, it's not, you don't have to be able to come up. That's not what I mean. But to be able to have the conversation, to be able to receive. You know what I'm saying? To be able to receive, like don't close yourself up. Keep an open mind. That was one of the major points yesterday. Like, it's not about knowing it all. First of all, for the rest of our lives, we're going to keep knowing and learning, right? Because it's all a moving target. Everything is moving. There's no stronghold ideology that's going to hold anybody on stage. The only thing that's constant in life is change. And if you get stuck and you don't respect that, you will end up on this street crying like a bitch. Jesus Christ. Anyway, shout out to Shay. So his original comment was, Mr. MOP, I'm trying to make sense of this video. So we did a video a while back. Okay. This video in particular was about this video right here. Let me see. Let me mute this really quickly. It's called, if you want to go watch the video later, it's called Before You Japa to Canada. Watch this. And I think, if I remember very well, we have over 700 videos here, so it's very hard for me to remember the specifics of any given video. Yes, even though I created them, right? Let's see here, this video right here. All right, and I think it was, let me see. Okay, I'm going to give you some quick disclaimer, quick disclosure. It's a almost 2 hour video. This story is okay. Yeah, that's what it was about. Okay, there was a gentleman, and I don't mention his name here because he didn't personally come here to act like a koala bear. He didn't personally attack me like a koala bear. It's always been respectful. So I respected his name, but his story, I decided to, with the permission of Auntie B, I decided to react to it here. And the title of it was, "Our broad wife kicked me out of my own house, colluded with Canada's system." And a lot of it had to do, you can watch it later on. I'm not going to do too much of reviewing it today. L Selector, good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome. All right. But the gist of it was that he claimed that his wife kicked him out. You know, we've been reviewing a lot of those claims, and some of them are getting debunked in real time. Like, literally yesterday here, Auntie B came on this platform and said, "Hey, we found Maureen. If you put yourself out and you're being stupid, you're going to be founded out." I don't know if that's correct English, but we will find you, okay? Because you did it. You did it to yourself. Every time you try to control narrative, it will work against you because you're a liar at the end of the day, right? Not this gentleman in particular, because we don't know yet, right? Because he's always been respectful too. I think he's kind of safe, right? Listen, you can speak your experience. Your experience doesn't have to be the absolute truth. We can empathize with your experience, and you have the right to your experience. We know already that it's just one side of 20 million sides of the story. We know that already, and we can still empathize with it. All right, but if you're arrogant about it and all you do is you want to throw the other person under the bus, or throw your wife under the bus, her full name, and try to shame her, if that's all, you're going to self-destruct yourself. Literally, that's what's going on in real time right now. So whatever you do, make sure you come join us on Auntie B's platform tomorrow. Don't ever miss that. Don't miss that, okay? But anyway, this gentleman that we're talking about his story right now, he's always been quite respectful, even though it's not like I didn't believe his story. I could read in between the lines and I could hear some crap there, right? And like, Baba, you know, you're married to an African American woman. Clearly, the way they raise children is different from yours. If you're going to do all that aggressive stuff, not only is it African American issue, mothers in general, if you don't kind of move with some wisdom around the way you discipline your children, they might push against you because she's a mother. And sometimes the way you're able to communicate with her can make all the difference. Say, babe, let me handle this. I got this. Just trust me, right? The way you say that can make all the difference. But whatever he did, he got arrested. something like that. And he's always coming. It came a few times to tell a story how he got arrested, and how the house, his own house, was taken away from him. All this kind of stuff. We're not saying he's lying. We're saying we can't just act like there's no solution to that from your part. We can't do that. That's precisely what we call incompetency. Not a crime, just not having the skills to move with wisdom. That's what I mean. Lack of game. Doesn't mean it's your fault. It just means you don't know what you don't know, and that's okay. It's okay until it's no longer okay, right? So, and that was the story, and I guess Sheyi stumbled into it for the first time yesterday, decided to watch the video, and then Sheyi gave us this comment, and that's the comment I'm about to read to you right now. Okay, so Sheyi said, Mr. MOP, I'm trying to make sense of this video, but I do not get it. It would appear to me in this video that you were taking sides with the system and the woman. Okay, my views is that I blame the guy for marrying the woman. I'm just going to read it and I'll analyze it. Because it would appear they do not share the same value system. Now, you need to understand something about how a large amount of women are wired these days. Women are not being cooperative. Women do not believe in long suffering. In summary, they are fickle-minded. You and I know the Western system is supportive of a woman. I understand that the guy may be toxic as you're trying to paint here. Okay. But I feel it's wrong to debunk what the guy is saying, given your analysis. Hearing the matter from the person is important. Okay. I actually heard it from him. But let's continue. Before giving assumption, there are too many assumptions in your responses. Okay. So many women these days do not fight for their marriage. Once there is little conflict, they are out. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Please don't go quiet on me. Okay. I want to hear your thoughts on this. They also use their kids as a weapon to disgrace the man. Life would bite them hard soon. There is nothing interesting about the Western legal system. It is unjust and not supportive of healthy family values. That's why the crime rate in America and Canada is at its all-time high. That was the original comment he left. Okay. Now, I love when people leave me a comment, elaborate comment, try to speak their mind. I love it. Okay. Well, first of all, it's additional content for us. Number two is that I might just learn something. It's possible. I don't know if I come off as I'm not open. I might learn something new. Okay. At the very minimum, I will learn how people are thinking. What are their thoughts? Authentic, valid thoughts around real life issues, real life situations. The honest truth is that a lot of men they are collecting. Okay, big time. That's the honest truth. Okay.
You collect woto.
All right. I didn't say anything about what caused it, but a lot of men are collecting woto.
Sorry.
Okay. A lot of men are finding themselves in that poto. Again, I haven't said anything about what caused it. There's no doubt about this. This is happening. But can we move forward towards solution? Can we identify where these issues are coming from? We have two choices. We can take the time, work on identify where these issues are coming from, or we can just conclude off of our feelings and claim it's not feelings in the same breath, which is confusion. We claim it's not emotion. That's bad confusion. Right? Call other human beings, including fellow men, emotional and biased without assessing what is going on. Basically, it's a conclusion that it is the fault of the other side. And that right there will be the first signal that it's probably your fault. Because this is probably how you moved inside of the marriage. You never take responsibility. You never hold yourself accountable. In fact, you rather jump and go and hold the other side accountable first. Let's hold them accountable first. Followers need to know how to be followers. And sadly, there's enough talking points, enough scriptures in the Bible, enough situations in our past to justify the BS. But it creates perpetual cycle, vicious cycle. You find yourself in the pot all over again. You know. So I do want to analyze that line by line, but before I go into that, let me see. She said, I can't wait for Auntie B to have a show with Maureen to debunk whatever that needs to be debunked. I'm not sure how that's going to go down, but there's more to that conversation. We're definitely going to be having it. Definitely. It's crazy thing is that yesterday, the koala bear that were logged on yesterday spewing garbage talking about some Allah is pandering to women as opposed to actually grabbing the lesson. This one, they could be all right. They can't tell me that what the man who hid his identity. They can't tell me that what the man who hid his identity, but her husband in harm's way, was not cowardly and wrong as hell. Yeah, the original koala bear actually admitted to that is a coward, but that was just a way for him to let me tell you one little thing you like, so I can move on to actually tell you how I feel, which is a bunch of bullshit. We can see through all of that, you know. But anyway, here's the original response. I want to go to the original response that I gave to Shay. Shout out to Shay again. I said, thanks for the comment. Let's use your last statement. What was his last statement? His last statement was, that there is nothing interesting about the Western legal system. It's unjust and not supportive of healthy family values. That's why the crime rate in America and Canada is at all-time high. Okay, so I said that. Okay. So I said thanks for the comment. Let's use the last statement. Crime rate in America and Canada is higher than what and where. You can't just say it's at all-time high. There's a context of the conversation. When we say it's all-time high, we must be measuring against something. So by default, it has to be higher than something, some kind of benchmark, something we can measure against, right? Because the reality is that there's crime everywhere in the world. Okay? There is crime everywhere in the world. So if we're going to say America and Canada crime rate is high, we need to create a benchmark. Exactly how are we measuring that? What cities, what states? There's about 50 countries here? 50 states, and the whole of Texas alone is, what is it? Two-third of Nigeria, or about the same size of Nigeria. California, the same thing. I mean, this place is huge. It's 300 million worth of people in the United States alone, right? With Canada is huge too, right? So exactly how are we measuring that? That was basically what I was asking him. Like, that's why I said crime rate in America and Canada is higher than what and where. And do you have data source to cite? I could care less about data. Honestly, if you cite data for me, what I'm really looking for is how you interpret the data. Okay, because data can be sourced from anywhere. The internet measure itself, because some things you can, like, internet is also pulling data from itself, but there are ways that it adjusts for itself, that it normalizes the data to see if it's real or it's just lame. There's tons of lame data out there. Okay, probably the number one of all lame data, in the way at least most people that visit it interpret it, is blackdemographic.com. If you tend to quote blackdemographic.com, you are probably a lame person. Okay, if you tend to quote, I'm not saying the source of data is bad or anything like that, but if this is your go-to when you want to make these gender-based, gender-biased, gender work conversations, you are probably one of the lame people that we're talking about. Probably, I'm not saying this, probably, just probably. Okay, because clearly that data is aligning with your own personal thoughts, and you don't have any thoughts outside of that. You can't, like, you probably are terrible at interpreting data too. That was a lot of shots fired, just in case you're paying attention. Okay, but anyway, thank God that Shay did not exactly give me any kind of. I don't know if he gave me data and it disappeared from Black Demographic. But the honest truth is that source right there, maybe you heard it from Kevin Samuels, or you heard it from another just grifter, Pearl Kings or something. If you heard it from those sources, they're actively trying to push a narrative. They know that you are fickle-minded as a whole grown man, and they know that they can waggle you anyhow they want, because they already know that you have pain that you won't treat properly. That's why. They already know, right? So I'm not always looking for the data particularly. I'm actually looking for how you would interpret it, because that's what would make me feel like, hey, maybe I should take some time to go look at it, depending on how you interpret it. If you interpret it like, if you interpret it the way I'm talking about right now, I'm probably just going to look at your interpretation and say, no, I'm not going to waste my time on that. It's very clear what you're trying to say. And I receive it, just your opinion, okay? But that's why. But anyway, I meant it. I said, hey, go. If you have data to source, I'll take a look. See what you're talking about, because everything is said so far. There are point of contention that we can take a closer look at and say, hey, maybe we're off. Maybe we can add some context to the interpretation of the data. This is why I ask for data. I don't just ask for data so I can take it from you and say you are right. What? No, of course not, right? Of course not. I already think you're right. Personally, as far as I'm concerned, I already think you are right. Okay? Because you're coming from your personal experience.
Oh, you're right.
All right. So I said, and do you have data source to cite? Abi is just assumptions. It looks to me that you're trying to paint us as speaking same language. We're not. I'm saying him and I, we're not speaking the same language. And that's the first thing you need to identify. Is this person speaking from a different context? I'm speaking from a different context. I'm looking at a holistic solution that includes the fact that we're emotional beings. And it looks to me that the modern men are looking for solutions that completely discounts the very fact, yes, a logical fact, that we're emotional, all of us, not just women, we're emotional beings. Okay? Just because one gender tend to express more emotionally does not mean we don't have emotions. Okay? We all have we all operate out of our feelings and emotions. All of us. And energy, there's something about energy you should know. It's neither created nor destroyed. It's flowing in one direction or the other. Something must give always. So either you're suppressing it, or you are overly loud about your emotions. Emotions are emotions. It's nobody's mate. It will do what it needs to do. It will give us a full-blown human experience. And no matter how much you try to turn yourself to a machine, it will not work. The more you try to do that, the worse it gets for you. Because guess what? You don't live in a cave. You're working with the rest of society at the end of the day. And it gets worse. The more you blame everything else but self, it gets worse. Anyway, let's continue. So, we're not speaking the same language. And I'm just saying, hey, I'm looking in the direction of solutions, but I need to include the biggest variable, emotions. And it sounds to me that we're just looking at just pure data without even paying attention to the source of the data or proper interpretation of the data, right? I like data too. I'm an engineer by trade, so I don't know. There's only so many of us among all 7 billion, right? So it takes a certain level of analytical mind to be. I love data. As a matter of fact, I love data. You cannot love data more than me. Okay, it's almost impossible. Let me say that. Okay. It's about learning your power. Okay, so I said the analysis wasn't about the person specifically. It was because I didn't mention his name. I never mentioned his name. I took permission before I took the story from Antibi. I did not mention his name, but the story is a story. The story is out there, and there are tons of guys with the same story that can relate with the story. That's why those stories tend to go viral more, because there's more than enough guys with similar stories. They tend to be the loudest because it's a painful experience. It makes sense that they tend to be the loudest. Okay, the people that are having a good time inside their marriage, they figured out with their wife how to parent, even though they married somebody on the other side of the pond, they're enjoying it. They tend not to come on the internet and make noise about it. Does that make sense? Unless they're creating content. And usually there's no real reason for them to create content, because they just want to die inside their walla. That's typically the situation. And it is what it is. Most people are not content creators, right? Most people are not counselors. They're not coaches. Okay. Anyway, about the person specifically, it wasn't about fairness or justifications, because he talked about unjust. It's not about fairness or justifications. Nothing I do on this platform is about justifying. We're not judging anybody. I understand sometimes it might come off that way, right? Everything I say here is going to be easier said than done. If it sounds like a suggestion and advice, I am not the one to tell you I'm not giving an advice. Okay, if you're receiving this as an advice, it is an advice. Okay, and I have to take responsibility to a large extent. For having an opinion here, I need to collect sometimes. It's just what it is. You put yourself on a pedestal, you will collect.
Sorry.
Just the reality, right? So everything I say here is easier said than done. If it sounds like a suggestion and advice, that's why it's highly rewarding if you can figure it out. That's why. It takes work, but it's worth it when you figure it out. Okay? And thank God we're getting some testimonials here and there. All right? They're coming in. All right. So I make that clear in our sessions that nothing is easier. Everything is about power. It's not about fairness. Okay, the conversation here is about power, not about fairness. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. There's always force. You're not fighting flesh. There's always forces looking to destroy you and everything you care about. There's no fairness in that. Are you kidding me? There's no fairness in that. If you're playing fair, the other person is not playing fair. It might, for the most part, it's not another person. It's yourself. To a large extent, it's not persons, it's the forces of emotions of the human experience. Okay. Anyway, so and then I said it's about learning your power. Okay, in this situation of crisis you find yourself, let's try again and thanks. And then I quote: "Women are not being cooperative. Please cite context, your experience or data." Listen, I'll take your experience. It's just as good as data to me, right? But problems with a lot of this conversation, shout out to Shayi again, most of them are not willing to tell their personal experience. They just want to conclude for the rest of the world in the name of, I want to advocate for men and save the world. It's a lie. It's usually a lie. Okay? They just won't admit to it.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
Usually a lie. Okay. There's an extreme good chance that you're right, but until then, I actually think it's right. Because again, personal experience, and shout out to Shay. He did come here yesterday. He alluded to some fact. He's had some experience, and he was very, very gracious with the conversation. So he came back again and he said, I responded to you with some fact and link. Yeah, if you post the, okay, I think it's because of the link. If you put a link in the comments, it won't go through. Okay. YouTube doesn't allow you to post links in the comment unless you're a mod or something, a moderator. It doesn't allow it. But YouTube removed my comment. If you require facts, they're all over the internet. I do not put my private business on the internet. But if you want a conversation, I'm in. I do not pander to debate. It's not productive. Good point. Me either. Right? And we did have a conversation today, and he proved that. So now back to the original comment. Okay, that's basically what we're talking about today. So right about now, what I want to do is I want to analyze it line by line. Shout out to all 32 of you, or 30 people watching me. Hit that like button. Do me a favor, hit that like button as you're coming in. Thank you. I appreciate that. But before we do that, I'm just going to go ahead and share my link, just in case, some of you want to come up, because we're going to have another hour or so. We're at the top of the hour right now, but I'm going to analyze line by line, because there's so much more in the original thing that he dropped, right? There's so much more in that. So I'm going to drop the link just in case somebody wants to come up. You have an opinion, you have a pushback, you have additional context, all of that. Okay, you have experience. Remember what we're talking about. This is why modern men are running away. This is literally what's going on. That's what we need to talk about. It's not just that they're not cooperative, right? There's a reason behind that. Why is it that they're not cooperative? So let's even assume I agree with you. Okay, actually I agree with you, because if you're saying modern women are not cooperative, your experience is that women are not cooperative with you. That's precisely what is going on, right? But I would like to talk about why. I would like to hear from gentlemen if you have certain types of experience, but you have to be open to criticism, just like or at least a fair conversation, right? Because I'm not really criticizing anybody, but a fair conversation, I will open everything up. Okay, it's a whole surgery. I open every corner, and you're not just going to get away with generalization. Okay, and no, you don't have to tell your personal business either. I just have I have questions. I need some things. I need you to elaborate on some things. I need clarity. I need to clarify certain things, right? So if you're open to that, you're always welcome here, provided you see the waiver. When you call into Man of Prestige live streams, you waive all rights to audio, video, and image, just so you know. All right, so I shared the link. I just want to pin that to the top really quickly, and then just in case anybody comes up and chop it up, okay? Take advantage of it. I'm working on some other things right now, so I'm not sure when I'll come back after today. However, we'll be dropping videos. We'll be dropping tons of videos, okay? So, yeah. Now, I do notice that I haven't heard myself. Let me see what's going on. Have I been talking? I've been talking just without music. Wow, I'm proud of myself. I usually love the music playing too. Wow, I'm proud of myself. I was actually talking without the music. The music keeps me going. Lovely. Yeah. All right, so let's do surgery on line by line of Shei's comments, okay? That's what we're about to do. The Jackpot Bride. Why is it that your wives are running away? Our wives are running away, especially when we're talking about the abroad, the Western world. In the abroad, wives, they are running away. Why are they running away? All right, so let's see, because I won't be creating answers here. It's either some of the ladies call in and tell us their experience, or I'm going to tell you from talking to so many people, handling so many cases. I can tell you probably what you're dealing with. It comes off as an assumption, but not exactly. Not so easy, okay? It's not exactly assumptions, okay? It's from talking to so many people and having my own personal experiences, okay? All right, so let's do that. So the first line, it says, I'm trying to make sense of this video. Again, the video is about a man who was kicked out of his house just because he was trying to discipline his child. That was the story he gave. Clearly, I'm always asking, please, where's the rest of the story? Okay, where is the goddamn rest of the story? And that's not judging. I wasn't judging. I'm just saying, hey, if you're leaving out a big chunk of the story, that's a chunk of the story that you just left out. If you're leaving that big part out, things like, oh, she's been complaining. Things like, you know what, she's always complaining. She's, you know, she seems like she's been hanging out with some friends. Well, I started to feel like, hey, is that not the wife that I married? Like, tell me a little bit more about how you feel. That's a part of the story. You're not telling me about how you feel. You're just trying to make this into some exact facts that everyone is going through in the world. That kind of destroys the credibility of your story, because there's no way you're just innocent. Not because you're a bad person, because you're a human being like the rest of us, right? That's what I remember about that story. But anyway, I yield. I'm trying to make sense of this video, but I do not get it. Yeah, there was a backstory also. We came from Antibi's platform. That's where he actually told the story in person. He told the story in person. And what I read was actually a transcript of what he said. Okay? And then I removed names, personal information, and stuff like that. Okay? It would appear to me in this video that you were taking sides with the system and the woman. Yeah. I like that he said it appeared. I like that. That's real, right? And that's okay, right? But it makes sense that they appear that way to you when you've had certain types of experience and you found enough people to relate with similar experiences. And it's like, it can't be just us that something is wrong with. There's something wrong with this woman. I understand. I understand, right? Like I always say, everything we're talking about is easier said than done. Particularly because, listen, you feel how you feel, right? And you're so sure of how you feel. You had the experience, right? Oftentimes you see people say, "Allah, I pray that God will not show you wicked people." I said, now that's an assumption. Right? That's an assumption. There's wicked people everywhere. They're just not majority of us. If it was majority of us, this would be a war zone, active war zone, don't you think? You ever thought about that? That it would be an active war zone if it's just wicked people. They just want to hurt other people. They just wake up every day. They just want to hurt people. Right? So it's not true. Hey babe, I'm live, okay? So then he goes, it says, it appears to him I'm taking sides. I understand it. It says, my views is that I blame the guy for marrying the woman. Because it would appear they do not share the same value system. All right. So we will all marry people that will seemingly, at some point in the marriage, it will seem that we don't have the same value system. What that is growing pain. What that is inevitable crisis. It's going to happen to everyone. Okay? It's going to happen. Now, levels yato. Levels vary from people to people, you know, obviously, right? But the truth is that everyone will go through their own crisis in marriage. It's just the reality of the human experience. Two human beings trying to do life together. You know when they say iron sharpens iron? That doesn't come free. That's probably a heightened level of friction, right? But it's also an opportunity for growth. And the question is now is that is modern men seeing it as growth, or they are just seeing themselves as victims? Let me be clear, there are many men that are victims. Okay? But when I do see a victim, I'll let you know. Okay? I'll let you know. But majority of these loud cases on social media, no, it's not. You were a victim, but you were also partly responsible for victimizing yourself. All right? Not the original event. The perpetuating it with the talking points. Right? It's an open wound. The more you are focused on pointing fingers at everything else, the more you are messing with the wound. It will hurt you. It will hurt you even more. You will hurt yourself even more. Okay? And it's so sad because you can't see that far. It's short-sightedness. You lack foresight. You don't realize that when you put your ex-wife name out there, or you put yourself out there, you start sounding like a pained person. You can't see that far that you're actually going to hurt yourself in the long run. So it's actually very sad. But that's why I'm talking about this stuff. Maybe you can see that far after a longer than one piece of content conversation. Maybe you start seeing that, maybe I should look closer. Not judge yourself, not guilt shame yourself, because that's not what I'm trying to do here. But maybe to see some things that you can't see when you're caught up in your emotions, right? Anyway, he said, my views is that I blame the guy. I actually don't like using blame at all. Okay? I might come off that way if I'm talking directly at you. If you are a rude person who can't contain your emotions, I might come off that way. But in general, I don't think blame is, I think it's poison for relationships. It's number 3 on our list. Shaming, insult, blame, fault. These actions right here cannot build relationships. They are poisons, literally. Judgment, condemnation, guilt, discrete logic. That means lame logic. Let's just look at the data, just math. Forget your emotions and feelings, right? Sarcasm, condescension, obsession with right and wrong. These are all poisons. So this is like nothing we say here is about blame, unless you're directly trying to troll. Then I'm not blaming at that point. I'm just trolling you too. That's all. Poisons. These are poisons. So I actually don't like using poison. But he said, what did he say? He said, my views is that I blame the guy for marrying the woman. No, I don't even use the approach of blaming. Not especially for something that you couldn't control. You marry the person you marry. They change. You change. They evolve over time. It's about learning how to respond to this crisis when they show up. It's not about trying to avoid everything up front. That's literally missing out on life. Trying to avoid not being hurt in this world. You're missing out on life. You're missing out on the experience, literally. Anyway, because it would appear they do not share the same value system. Not necessarily. They already never shared the same value system. It's just that when he was presented with a crisis, he didn't know how to handle it. He overreacted. That's the reason why police take people away. When they are called to domestic issues, if you get caught up in your emotions and it looks very messy, it looks like they can't trust you being left alone with the person, they will take you away. Just to be sure that nobody is to protect you against yourself. Because what happens if they leave you there and then the other person hurts you? What about that part? You ever thought about it that way? It's okay. It's better. You'll be protected in jail. You can sit on that bench for overnight. It's better than to hurt yourself or to stay in a position where you'll be hurt by another person. Whatever it is that the judgment of the policeman that came, they will carry somebody away. If there's evidence that I've seen women being carried away before, but that's not common, to be fair. Okay, for the most part, the man would be carried away. So I keep telling you, gentlemen, you can't afford to be operating out of your emotions, especially if you are very quick to call other people emotional and you are actually being emotional. You can't afford it. You will continue to get ghosted. You will continue to get blocked. You will continue to attract masculine women. You will continue to create the results you're getting. You will continue to collect woto.
Sorry.
That's just how it works. Okay. So it's not about him marrying somebody, he married the wrong person. No, irrelevant. Women also do the same thing. They question compatibility, dead ass in the middle of the marriage. I don't think we're ever compatible. What? You had like 50 kids with him. Compatible is irrelevant. You're in the middle of crisis. Welcome to the real world. Hopefully you're with a strong man. Because this is going to be a tough battle. Okay? And God bless you. You're one of a special type of unicorn woman. Maybe you can all by yourself help yourself out of that situation. I hope so. I pray so. Coconut heads. Right? On all area. But anyway, let's continue. Now you need to understand something about how a large amount of women are wired this way. Women are not being cooperative, do not believe in long suffering. In summary, they are fickle-minded. You and I know the Western system is supportive of a woman. That's a lot in that. Let me go back a little bit. A large amount of women are wired this way. I never really got the way they are wired. The truth is that a man is different from a woman. Okay? Now we can start with things like I said to him yesterday, we carry the sack. The sack has all of the children that this was going to have. We're carrying it. We carry millions upon millions. We produce millions of it on every single day. We don't break down for it. We're different. Women, on the other end, they carry the eggs. They receive, multiply, reciprocate, populate our world. Nation, mothers of nations. We're different. Obviously, we're different. Now, in terms of psychologically speaking, for career reasons, social construct reasons, are they wired differently? They're wired differently. Are they wired badly? Learn the world that you're in, that God gave to you to lead, to be a king, to dominate, they are wired badly. Who do you want to blame for that? God? You want to blame God for that? Where do we start from with the blame? We're sharing these blames. Where do we start from with that? Because I'm confused. These are the cards you're dealt with. Are they perfect? No. This is where the incompetence or competency comes in. Can you? Abi you no fit. You fit or you no fit. Can you handle the women in your society without trying to become a time machine to go back to 1970? These are the issues. Remember, we don't have to touch blame or whose fault is it. We can just look at it as it's a problem. Whose problem is it? Is it mine, yours, Abi God's, Abi women's, or children's? Whose problem is it? It's their own problem. Are you sure? Do you believe in that? Because if you believe in that, you don't have to worry about anything. It's not your problem. Just leave it alone. But if you don't believe that, it's confusion. You come and be telling us what the problem is. That is confusion. It's no wonder. It's little to no wonder. So you have to make a choice here. Is it your problem or not your problem? Is it our problem altogether or not our problem? Abi, you want to exonerate yourself. This is just as women. Could make sense now. At best, it is all of our problems. Okay? But do you think maybe problem is a good thing? Maybe challenges is not necessarily a bad thing after all. Maybe when you're confused, it's time to learn something new. Right? But we can't solve a problem unless you admit that, hey, it's a personal problem too. You can't shame the society at macro level without saying, hey, this is my personal experience. Something that I've noticed both men and women are actively trying to avoid. No, I can have an opinion. It's not my problem. It's everyone else's problem. Go right now. It's not right. It makes sense. At best, it's all of our problems. Let's stop lying. Okay?
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
So women are not being cooperative. Sure. The only thing you tell me at that point is that women are not cooperative with you. That's all you're telling me. That's all you're telling me. Okay. Just quoting divorce rate or the fact that women are 80% of divorces are initiated by women is not enough. You're going to have to interpret that for me beyond just the moment when that data was recorded. We need to go a little bit deeper beyond they're not cooperative. Why? They're filing for divorce at 80% the rate. They're initiating the divorce. Why? I need to know why. What are your assessment of why? But let's be fair, because Sheyi went into a little deeper into it, right? He said they do not believe in long suffering. What do you mean? You mean women don't want struggle love? You mean they are running away because they don't want struggle love? Now, I don't like making it about women. This is not really about women. I'm more concerned about why is it that you've concluded that you two don't deserve soft life? Why is it that you've concluded that you deserve long suffering? Is it because of the Bible? The Bible said long suffering. Do you know what they call context, right? Context matter, right? Context matter. Now there's long suffering and there's just some suffering that's not necessary. Even as a man, you deserve soft life too. Why are you doing yourself like this? Eh? If you no fit if being with the person, regardless of how many kids you've had with the person, I know that it's tough, it's a difficult thing. Why do you feel you deserve struggle love? Why are you trying to actively force these women into struggle love? Let's start with that. I'm going to go back to the other side, but I want to start with that. I know what you're trying to say, that they don't want to stay in long suffering. Every time they get a little bit of a visual challenge, they just run. Baba, if a person doesn't want to stay in whatever they consider, whatever they deem is negative, why would you want to force them to stay? This is a self-worth, self-esteem, self-respect, self-love issue at the core. It's easier said than done. Don't get me wrong. Listen, you're married to a person. They just suddenly want to leave. Of course, that will shake tables. That will shake everything up. Everybody wants to run. Like, that's, of course, you overreact to that. Of course, you're a human being, right? But let's calm down now. Long after it's happened now, at a societal level, since that's what we like to, at some point, we have to help ourselves and say, Baba, if she wants to leave, me too, I deserve struggle love. Make she go now. I deserve, me too. And me go, like, please don't let the door hit you. In fact, you don't have to close the door, because this is opening doors for the right person to come in. Easier said than done. Don't get me wrong. But when we come to last, right? After all, everybody go chop breakfast, right? After you chop breakfast, since everybody is chopping it, it's not really that much of a big deal. Maybe good riddance to bad rubbish so the right person can come in. Well, it's happening too much. What do you mean? You got data outside of the initiate divorce? Because what happened 3 years before they initiated the divorce? Does this have something to do with the fact that men are normalizing that? They're normalizing struggle love. You know you don't have to stay in struggle love too, right, gentlemen? You know that, right? You know you deserve soft life too, right? Honestly, that's all it's telling me. Women do not believe in long suffering. I don't think it's women don't believe in long suffering. I think women are taking the lead if you won't lead. The woman realizes that this is a toxic situation. You're not going to lead. We've been in the funky place for 5, 6, 7 years, and you're not going to leave. So 80% of the time, they pull the trigger. That's what's going on. Unless you have something else specific to tell me, that's the way I interpret that. Now, as far as common sense, which is a terrible guide to relationships, as far as common sense is concerned, we all agree that the divorce did not start at the point that they recorded it at the courthouse. There's some things that were happening before that point. Right? Some things were happening. What are those things that were happening? Like, we can't get stuck at the 80% divorce rate or 90% for college-educated girls are initiating divorce. It is high. I get it. I know. I feel your pain. But we got to get to the solution part. Why first? We need to understand why it's happening. We need to do some deep root cause analysis. We need to see what's going on there. We can't just look at data and say, hey, it is their fault. It is their fault. They're the one pulling triggers. Like, what? Could make sense now. That is a lie. If anything, it's a lie.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
There's more to it. There's more to the story. And we need to unpack all of it. Hit the like button if you're getting value from this, please. Thank you. I appreciate that. Share. All right. So the next point here is that women are not cooperative, do not believe in long suffering. In summary, they are fickle-minded. You and I know the Western world is supportive of women. The Western world did not create itself. In fact, if I were to gravitate towards a lot of these talking points, the men built it. Men built the Western world as is today. But why is it that they built something of this magnitude against themselves? How did this happen? Not to say struggle, love, don't pay no more, bro. Yeah, like, I don't know why anybody. I understand the long suffering. You understand that you will eat dirt. You will eat shit before you can gain. I get that part. But that's you. That's for you. You don't force another human being to do that. If you're forcing another human being to do that, that means you're overdoing it. That means you don't think you deserve better. That's what it means. Okay? It doesn't mean that life will not happen. When life happens, we can adjust and address it. However, the goal is not to struggling as exactly. You will chop shit. No, let's not get it twisted. I don't care how perfect you are, okay? Before you eat goodies of this land. Okay? But that's not the goal now. So that tells me that you're normalizing that you want to stay in it if you're forcing another person to stay in it. If another person says, what is enough for you, what's not enough for you is enough for me, I'm leaving. It's sad. But you gotta embrace that. There's no way that's not a blessing in disguise. Literally, there is no way that is not a blessing in disguise. Okay? Very, very important to note. There is a saying in Igbo, Ejiro afufu anya isi, which means suffering is not meant to be boasted about. Thank you. But that's what we're doing today. That's what we're doing. Let me continue. So he says, they are fickle-minded. Is this nature or that's just what they become? I don't know how to argue with that because, again, it sounds to me a personal experience. My experience is completely disconnected from that. Okay? I have extremely smart women around me. My wife, my mother, retired principal, retired twice in a row. At the age of 69, still taking on licensing and getting licensed as insurance agent. What do you mean fickle-minded? What are you talking about exactly? Well, my mother is 69. She's not a modern woman, I guess. Well, the women of these days are actually getting more educated, even more, right? So what do we mean? We're talking in a romantic setting, romantic context. They're fickle-minded. Listen, in a romantic context, there are certain aspects of it that you have to literally regard, not treat. Regard your woman as almost like, because you have to protect her like you protect your children, right? They're not children. Right? Women are not children. They're not children. But if we're talking about in a romantic setting, you want to say women are not adult. Guess who else is not really an adult? You. You fell in love with another human being. You allow them into your heart. Do you know what they can do to you? They can destroy you. They can destroy you. It's always been that way. Do you not know Samson and Delilah's story? Does that make logical adult sense to you? So if you're going to call women children, let's unpack it. We need context. Because if you don't do that, what you're looking to do is to be offensive, and it's no wonder you're creating the result you are creating. That's why you're creating your results. Okay? I've explained the children thing a long time ago. I'm not going to take too much time to be explaining that today. There was a point in time I was bickering with my woman years ago, and I ran to my father-in-law. I said, what did he say? He said, what? Yeah, women, your wife included, you have to start acting like they're 5 years old. You can't just be in this competition with your wife. There is context in that. You can't just run around the internet calling women fickle-minded and children. It tells me why you're having issues attracting cooperative or non-cooperative women or women. Those are the source of it. If you think women are fickle-minded, they will show you you're literally sowing seeds, and you know what women do with seeds, right? They will receive it, sure. They will receive it. Okay? But they will multiply it and they will reciprocate. You will multiply what you bring to the table. You think women are fickle-minded, you will continue to attract what you fear the most. If that's your mindset about women. It is a mindset. Very, very important to note this. There's more to it than trying to turn it into exact science. The issues with the modern men, aka, or let me say, concurrently or effectively becoming obviously modern women or modern people's problem. It starts with the modern men. The issue is trying to bring very complex issues down to exact science. Well, I know what the issue is. They're just fickle-minded. Let's just call it what it is. I know exactly what the issue is. It's called fickle-minded. Could they work now? Where we drag you woto for having that mindset, you collect over and over again.
Sorry, yo.
Okay? If you lack patience, it won't work in this time and age. Let me see. Hey, lady diva fool. She said, let me explain why I stayed in struggle love. I saw it as a challenge that no woman will enter my home. It was a detriment to my mental health. It took him to leave for my eyes to open. Wow. And according to numbers, this is the exception. So even those that stayed, it's not good for them either. If they stayed in the name of duty and responsibility. Just stay. Endure. Like the other lame one Oyibo guy said last week. Just endure. They said domestic violence. They said just endure. Weary. Say, what if it's your child? What if this is your daughter? Just endure. And then they found out that he was tearing a woman's face with glass in Japan. He was actually charged for that in Japan. Before you know it, a bunch of lame young men had been following him. So just endure. Endure what? That's lack of self-respect, self-worth, self-love on your part. You too deserve soft life. It's not the woman said they deserve soft life. She said I need space. You need the space. You need the space. You just probably don't realize. You need the space more than anybody else. And you probably just don't realize. Hey baby, I'm on live, okay? Shout out to you, the lady diva. I'm glad you're okay. There's more to these stories than stupid data. Data that's not properly interpreted. Okay? She said long suffering is for staying firm and addressing tough issues, not for a goal to just suffer forever. Hell no. In fact, in this context, you shouldn't be forcing anybody to stay in long suffering. You can preach it if you're a pastor, but you better be adding some context to that. I need to know what you mean by long suffering, sir. She struggle of me, sir. Abi we should struggle for the rest of our life. Abi, which one exactly are we? Let's sir. What did you say, sir? Abi is just for the time being. Abi indefinitely. It's just because the society said marriage is the right thing to do. You must just stay there and suffer longer. What? No. That's problematic. In terms of the Western system supporting of a woman, again, men created that for a reason. I have a feeling, I don't know the exact, I have a feeling is because that's what men do. We protect the vulnerable of the society. We protect women and children. And if the laws are being used or weaponized against men, then there's a due process to go through to adjust it. So that wicked women, yes, they exist. They won't use it against you. But I have a feeling that's not the issue. The issue is that you couldn't keep a home together from day one. It's not a crime. You're just not capable. You don't know what you don't know. It's happened to the best of us. Some of us are just on the other side because we decided, like, you know what? There's something here to learn. There's no marriage that has not gone through what you might have gone through. In some cases, some people say, no, I'll fix this. Some people say I'll fix it. They're not lucky enough to be able to fix it. Some people say I'll fix it. They're lucky enough to still be here. Right? Luck doesn't mean it doesn't involve competence or competency, skills or game. We're all lucky if that's what you're trying to say. Okay? It involves skills. You need to know what you're doing. Okay? There are patterns. There are more than enough patterns for you to learn how to navigate this very vicious world where everybody, including yourself, you're selfish. Okay? So how do you attract a woman who is not selfish? How? She's still selfish. Okay? She's still selfish. It's just that you have to reverse engineer everything that when she serves you, it becomes a selfish move for her. In fact, you want her to be selfish because you need people with healthy level of self-esteem. Right? But you need to reverse engineer everything in a way that her serving you and serving you all together, moving in the same direction as one team, becomes a selfish move for her. That's how you do it. Okay? Sorry, Chinya, we don't have the sound effect. What are you talking about? There's no such thing. I don't know about women being fickle-minded. Voila. Hey, honey babe, good to see you. Welcome. Yeah. Anyway, let me continue. I told you this was, every line is another lesson on its own. Okay. I understand that the guy may be toxic as you're trying to paint it. I wasn't trying to paint it. When you paint a picture as the other person is just guilty and there's nowhere where you are at fault. When you paint a picture of, you know what, they kicked me out of my house. Right? They kicked me out of my house and all because I was trying to punish my child. That's you trying to paint a picture. That's a toxic picture to paint in the first place. I didn't paint him a picture. I basically read what he said and I analyzed. He had a lot of my opinions, and yes, by default, he had a lot of assumptions. That's okay. There's no name in it. Okay? That's why I have coaching sessions, so I don't have to assume. On these platforms, we will generalize, and that will include a lot of assumptions, safe assumptions, rightful assumptions, not assumptions that are generalized toxic views that we can obviously tell you're lying. This is just your personal experience. Right? But anyway, still reading. But I feel it's wrong to debunk what the guy is saying, giving you analysis. If you think it's wrong, you're right. What do you want me to tell you, right? If you think it's wrong, you're right. That's just opinions, okay? Right?
Well, you're right.
Yeah. If you think it's wrong, you're right. It's not relevant to what we're talking about. It's not relevant, right? Hearing the matter from the person is important. Yeah, the script was from him directly, except we remove the names. Before giving assumptions, there are too many assumptions in your response. Yeah, but I'll give it to you. You didn't know that I've actually heard directly from him. So, it is what it is. Which man? I won't tell you the name here. That's the whole point. I didn't want to bring his name from the other platform here. It's a man on the Antibeast platform. All right. A very nice man, a very respectful man, by the way. So I don't want to drag him. Okay. But I think he might have the same name as me. If you don't know my name, if you don't get it, forget about it. But he's a very respectful man, so I want to leave his name out of. I don't want to bring his name into this conversation. I think he might have been here before too. No, I think that's somebody else. I'm not sure. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about right now. So many women these days do not fight for their marriage. Once there is little conflict, they are out. All right. So I will have to say you're right, because I'm assuming you're speaking from personal experience.
Well, you're right.
Okay, but if we're going to go, more macro societal level, if that's what you're saying, then in that case you're wrong, because we literally just had someone gave it their own personal testimony right here with us, and she just said, let me see if I can find it again. Shout out to Lady Diva Fool. She just said he had to leave. Oh yeah, but that's the exception. You can't use the exception. No, bro. We're all speaking from exceptions, your personal experience. Okay? Not so quick. Right? But this is an example of a person who literally stayed. Detriment to her mental health. It took him to leave. She had a reason. I have an auntie exactly like that. That's her reason for staying. It works for who it works for. For some people, it doesn't work for. If it doesn't work for her, you have to let go. Those are your best chances of attracting quality love. Letting go. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but that's precisely what you need to do. Let go. She said, I saw it as a challenge. Duty, responsibility is challenging. I like it too, but until somebody says, no, it is not for me. If she says it's not for her, you have to let go. It's the best opportunity for you to find a person that fits into your world, that can follow your program. In that manner, if you guys don't want to do soft life, I don't know if I want to encourage that, child. I encourage everybody to know that they deserve soft life too. Okay? That's not equal or synonymous to destroying family values. What I'm saying is that it's 2023 and beyond. It needs to come with soft life. It doesn't mean you're not open to a little bit of eating shit so you can benefit. We're aware of that as temporary situation, okay? But when one person does not subscribe to that, you have to let go, and you have to be happy to do that at some point. You need to be a normal person. It's painful in the beginning, that's normal, but at some point you have to engage healing and say, you know what, it's probably for the best. I know so many cases they did that, they came back around to each other and it was better because they were willing to let go first. So it's not an exact science. It's not a situation where you can say, they just don't want to stay. They're not staying because they don't belong there. You should be happy. I know it feels like, I know why you feel like, why I'll be beaten out with their destroying family values. Listen. They don't want to be there. She does not want to be there. What about the children? I know they're being selfish. You're right. That's how you feel. That's your feelings. I just need you to admit that's your feelings though. Okay? But only a person going through a situation will know what it feels like when it comes to feeling and emotion. Some people, all you have to do is call them out of their name one time and they're done. They're good. If you argue with that, you're arguing with your destiny, because how it feels to them, their threshold is different from yours. For you, you might need people to call you names 200, your wife to call you different names 200,000 times, and you don't get it, and you're like, long suffering. I can't judge you either, because hey, maybe that's a possible, maybe that's something that's making you kick. I don't know. Until you complain, say, this one is not working for me. That's when I assume and say, hey, it's not working for you. What do you think we can do about that? I will help you come up with a solution. I'm not coming up with a solution for you. Because only you know what is your threshold to receiving that type of pain. So this is not a topic that you can generalize everybody to, like, oh, they just want to leave. Well, the numbers are showing that they're leaving. Maybe, just maybe, it's time to adjust the way we move as men. You don't have to change your values. Just adjustment. Adjustment could be as simple as something is not working. Just understanding. It could be that. As opposed to, let's conclude, they're just terrible. They are fickle-minded. They're not cooperative. It's all because they have turned their government to their husbands, to the prickles, to their prick. That's a lie. Women are having sex. I don't know if you know. I know that's some of the things that we resent. Men, they love sex too. And I don't know if you know. They do. Yes, they love it too, right? And if they know how to do, their experience is actually better than yours. Don't get me started on that. Oh, let's just pretend women don't like sex. They should just do duty and responsibility. Stay there forever and buy there. Just because long suffering. Come on, that's what it sounds like. I'm sure that's not what you mean, but that's what it sounds like, right? But the key thing here is that letting go is a very hard thing to do, but that's precisely what you need to do oftentimes to create room. Allow God to work on your behalf. You're overworking your horsepower. You're not capable like that. You too, you deserve soft life. We can't keep trying to hold women that don't want to stay with you. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Okay? What works, if she belongs there, is to let her go first and she can find her way back. If you still want her, you can decide if you want her or not. Then you get to decide at that point in time. Okay? But if you're forcefully trying, she has to stay there long suffering, bro, it's just going to get worse and worse. That's a terrible experience of a marriage to have. Okay? So many of these women do not fight for their marriage. Once there is little conflict, they are out. They also use their kids as a weapon to disgrace the men. Do women do that? Yes, some women do that. But there's more to that story. And we need to unpack that if we're going to solve that problem. Okay? How are we going to unpack that? I can't generalize. Okay? The situation we were talking about yesterday, I'm just going to shut up for now. Okay? You can't have your wife filing restraining order against you and then you're asking to see the kids. Bro, are you mad? You need to create certain type of environment. Come on, man. There's more to it. And yes, some women, because they're so hurt, they will weaponize that against you. But there are ways around that. How do I know? Because I've helped so many people to walk around this, navigate this, and actually create a better situation. But we can't do that if all you're doing is concluding that women are inherently evil. Women, your wife, the person that you deemed your wife once upon a time, just want to hurt you. If that's true for you, I can't dispute it. But I'm telling you, it's not true all the way across. That's all I can tell you. I can tell you it's not true all the way across the board. There are deeper reasons why families find themselves in a situation where they have to exchange kids at the courthouse doorsteps. Sad situation, but oftentimes that's the safest way they can guarantee they won't hurt them and hurt them kids too. Have you never heard of people hurt themselves and the kids? Oh, you think they just woke up one day and they were just always evil? That's what you thought. Why do you want to wait until something like that happens? No, sometimes we have to do drastic measures to prevent drastic situations. They are normal people. They woke up one day and before they knew it, is their worst nightmare. All right? Life would bite them hard soon. How is life going to bite them and not bite the father of their kids? Or the children, even worse. Say èpè ni àbí àdúrà, which one is it? Èpè ni àbí àdúrà. Is this a curse or a blessing? Which one is it that you are giving? Life will bite them hard soon. These are some men's kids involved, somebody's ex-wife who is going to be responsible. You're cursing all of us out. You're cursing all of us. If it's a curse, if it's a blessing, it's the same thing. We're in the same boat. Just FYI. There is nothing interesting about the Western legal system. It is unjust. It's not about just or fairness. It's not. You fight not the flesh. There are forces against you and your family, and you better wake up. It's not about being just. It's not about being just. You're not supposed to have kids with somebody who is your enemy. This is a mindset. If you had kids with somebody who is your enemy, man or woman, regardless, this is a you problem. You have to hold yourself accountable first before we worry about anything else. The legal system, especially American legal system, has never been about just. Real life. Welcome to the real world. It's never been about just. If you don't have money for a good lawyer, good lawyer. It's not, life has never been about just. It's about what you know, but also who you know. You never heard that before? Is that a new thing? It's always been that way. So if you want somebody, you get them on your team, so that you together will join forces together and fight those other forces. You don't make them your enemy. You will shoot yourself on the legs. It's never been about just. It's never been about just. And leaves them not supportive of healthy family value. No, it's never been about that. They collect a certain amount of money for every time you file something. You think that won't be joke? They collect money from you now. And they should, because they have to maintain the system. The best systems in the world, they have corrupt people. The question is that how corrupt is one to the other? Is the system working for an average person? Can you run into your bathroom and pee and not have to go and fetch water from the well to flush? It's never been about perfect system or just systems. Life doesn't work like that, gentlemen. It's about power. You have to take it. It's not given. And if you like someone, you think they're supposed to be on your team, that's your responsibility. Get them on your team. If they don't want to come into the team, let them go. If you make them your enemy and you want them to stay in a marriage with you, why would you do that to yourself now? On paper, it could make sense. Even on paper, it could make sense. It only makes sense because you are a simp at heart. Okay? You're a lover boy and you don't know how to do it. You've been paying attention. You've been watching too many romantic movies where the woman just falls head over heel and she stayed their life forever, happily ever after. It's not real. It was a movie. You want her on your team, that's your responsibility, bro. Because if you don't make that your responsibility, she will run away. She will jackpot like the rest of Una. That's why the crime rate in America and Canada is at all-time high. I don't think this is relevant at all. There's crime everywhere in the world. But I would like to know what the crime rate in Nigeria is as compared to America. I'd like to compare that from GDP to GDP, from person per square footage area, mileage per square footage area. I would like to measure that, see which one is which one. But I don't think it's relevant. I don't think it's relevant. Okay? Brides are jackpot in Nigeria too, just so you don't know. It's just not documented. Half of the marriage certificates in Nigeria are fake. If it's done outside of Ikoyi, they're not recognized. Most of the churches marrying people in Nigeria never documented it anywhere. If they jackpot, they slept with somebody next door, nobody found out because it's not recorded anyway. Mama Tonra Wase, let's not be. This is all lies at the end of it. It comes down to wait. Human beings, we just like to do.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
Yeah. Another awesome session. Another good one. But let me come to the comments. We're rounding up. I was going to do 2 hours today. I get to go and have the rest of my day. All right. Yay. So we can prepare for Anti-B session tomorrow. Make sure you show up to that one. Woo. Beyond Braids. Good to see you. Welcome. I guess you're saying wow for the Lady Diva 4. Yeah. Long suffering is for staying from. Good point, Chinye. Good point. I don't know about women being fickle-minded. Yeah. I know what it's trying to say. In a romantic context, you're supposed to be the man. A woman is a woman. But the idea to just blanket it out and say women are fickle-minded. A woman can come to you today and say, hey, I like that. Today, tomorrow she says you don't like him anymore. It's boring. It's called we like certainty. We like to feel safe and secure. She also likes variety. She doesn't like to be bored. She likes to be excited. She likes painting, chaotic painting that just looks beautiful for no damn reason, no structure around it. That's the nature of a woman. But there are certain words that, hey, social intelligence. You just can't turn around and call women children. That's weird. You're a weirdo. Fickle-minded. What is that? A compliment? Is that a compliment? That's not a compliment. If somebody call you fickle-minded, do you receive that as compliment? Right? You call her fickle-minded, she will show you fickle-mind for sure. Absolutely. You want to call women, you want to run around town and call women fickle-minded and children? Yeah. She will show you fickle-mind. But that will be all your fault, yeah. Just so you know. Jesus, what's the name of the man you were just talking about? I don't know. If a man doesn't give her what to fight for, then what would she be fighting for? Because women don't produce anything. And I think Sheyi agreed to that yesterday when it was here. Shout out to Sheyi again. Right? Women receive, multiply, reciprocate. So you will shoot yourself on the legs if you don't get that. You produce. You are the producer. Okay? Not only is that nature, you can look at biology, it's very simple, but even our social construct is designed that way. And that is a good thing. Because there's only so much you can do as a producer yourself. You need your rib to help meet, to help you multiply. What do you do with that? You nurture it. So now women are not naturally nurturer. Dude, learn how to nurture. Nurture it because it's in your best interest. And the lame one will call you a simp. Don't worry about it. It's because they are simping. Actively. They can't. They don't worry about them. You focus on the results you are creating and making it better. It's true. Some people say vision. You give her vision, you provide vision for her, whatever that was. But the point is that you gotta have a vision as a leader. You have to have something to follow. Shout out to you, Princess Lizzie. She said, watching here from Obodo Onyibo. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Honey Bay said, it is so not worth it. It takes two to make a marriage. If one party is not willing to work at it, let it go. It's not worth it for you as a man. You too. Right? I'm not saying you don't fight. There's a way you fight. Part of fighting, if you know what I mean, is letting go first. Let it go. Release. So you can feel free. You want to feel free? Right? She feels like she's smothered. She feels like, what happens when action, reaction, resistance, you try to force it to stay, could it work? It can't work. There's another human being involved in this. She's not just a thing. You're pulling and she's pulling, let it go. Okay? If it was a bad idea for her, oh my daddy mole, she will, a bomb will be on the floor. And then she'll like, damn, all right. And then you get to choose if you want that or not, or if you want to stay there or not. But you will tell yourself, you will now prove to yourself that you have a level of self-worth first. And then you will demonstrate that you're also a standalone man on your own. Right? It's not that you don't need people, but you want them to want to be here too. Right? You gain a certain level of extra respect just like that. Just by letting go. Back in the days when they used to stay for no reason, that's a different context. There was value in that. No, not all our mamas didn't struggle. No, that's a different. You can't use ladies, you can't use what is happening today to determine that your parents were struggling. That's not true either. That's not true either. I hear that a lot. Like, no, it's not true. Unless your mother came to you and told you, yeah, I was suffering, you can't tell her for her that she was suffering. Remember, it all starts with the mind. Right? If what she sees around her in the 70s and the 60s was, this is life, like, oh, My achievement, I have a husband, I deal me, right? And she had to go through a little bit of something. There was just side chicks running through the side of the house, and she felt not wanted. No, she probably didn't feel not wanted. She probably felt like a queen. This is you interpreting it with the 2023 mind. Could work. It's not working. But men are doing the same thing. Like, let's go back to 1960, 70. No, it's a different context. It's a different context altogether. There are women that suffered back then, but it's not all of them. Stop saying that, please. Okay, stop saying that. All right, it gets worse. All right. Oh God. Soft Life is my anthem. I have called before in Auntie B's program and explained my case in context of RN being a nurse. Okay, we're not together anymore. I am remarried now. Awesome. I think I remember you. I don't think you used this name though when you called in. I think I remember you. One friend I know did struggle love for over 19 years. Eventually, when it got toxic, she had to leave as it was affecting the kids. Yeah, it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. And those kids will have to deal with that. Because they were learning. They were learning more from what you were doing more than what you were saying. Okay? A woman is a bank and you get whatever you deposit with an interest. Yes, I agree. Word. Now I'm talking. I don't even know what I said. Anyway. It will take a long time to heal from something like that. Yeah, the children, we have to deal with that. That's going to be their outlook on relationships. It's not good. It's not good to do that, right? They'll be fine too. Everybody that comes into this world have to deal with their own. That's the reality. But why make it harder, right? Yes, with 4 kids now, she's just healing. She just finished her master's. She just started a fab new job. Her eldest is in university doing well. That's awesome. That's awesome. This is where they said they will suffer. Well, listen, everybody will suffer. Okay, that's why, and including you. So why do that? That's your family. Like, let's do something about it. Let's do something about all of these issues. Let's stop throwing each other under the bus. I'm not doing kumbaya. I promise you. You will collect. Let me tell you something right now. If you don't listen to what I'm saying right now, man or woman, you're not having one up on anybody. Okay. You're not. This is not one up on everybody. All of us go collect if we don't get this wrong.
Sorry, yo.
The children don't escape. You don't escape nothing. So we got to figure it out, right? If you can't figure it out, let's make sure you figure the next one out, or at least let's make sure you have something to give to your kids, so you can have some wisdom to offer them, because we need each other. That's the bottom line at the end of the day. That's the bottom line at the end of the day. All right, so let's leave it at that. So I'm referring to the man that was telling people to endure, but he's doing the worst to his wife in Japan. Not his wife, to a random girl. Decided to put a glass in the girl's face. Allegedly. Trigger alert. You know. Hey Esther, good to see you. Good to see you, Esther. Alright. Gracious Greatness says, Mr. Ola, a live and premiere at the same time. This dude is working. We're working. So speaking of, that premiere will play right after this live session right now. I'm going to round up right now. So make sure you watch that premiere. It's a nice small clip from some of our last episodes. You will love it. All right. So that's all I have for you today. The Jackpot Bride is reality. It is what it is. It's going to keep happening until we get it right. Okay. I applaud anybody that jackpot from toxic situations. I applaud every man that have done something about it and fixed it and keep their home together. Okay, and for those that refuse, that want to make stupid conclusions from online talking points until you come back to the reality, because I know you're lost in that movie romantic lover boy nonsense, you will continue to collect.
Sorry, yo.
Yeah, I said it. That's what's gonna keep happening. There's no, you can't. It's the truth. Okay, all right. So that's what I have for you today. Hopefully you've been enlightened. and educated. I'll see you on the next one, and peace.
Your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.